My guest today began her journey of supporting women after becoming a mother herself. She trained as a lactation consultant and postpartum doula before expanding her work to include her first love, horses. Now she plays a vital role in an equine business and charity that is woman-owned and operated, focusing on rehabbing, retraining, and rehoming off-track thoroughbreds. She also trains with Willow River Equestrian, where she helps scholastic groups, corporate teams, and mental health and wellness programs learn the art of co-regulation through natural horsemanship. And in what might be the most unexpected twist, she absolutely cannot stand belly buttons. I'm pregnancy focused chiropractor Dr. Elliot Berlin, and you're listening to the Informed Pregnancy Podcast. Jaime Lipsky Garcia, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Dr. V. Thanks for having me again.
Oh my gosh, a favorite person of mine. Welcome back, I should say, to the podcast. We have an interesting topic today. So let me set the stage for the discussion. We're talking about omphallophobia, a very real and surprisingly common fear of belly buttons. For some, it's just the sight of them. For others, the thought of them being touched or even just imagining them can trigger a strong physical reaction. Believe it or not, public figures like Khloe Kardashian have openly shared that they struggle with this phobia. So you are definitely not alone. And I kind of want to get into, because I haven't really come across too many people who talk about it. Comes up for me sometimes because we're doing massage when we get to the belly button. All of a sudden, the client turns green or whacks me in the head, whatever suits them. I'm like, what happened there? And it's like, don't touch my belly button. But before we get to that, let's get into you a little bit. So I mentioned in the opening, you became a lactation consultant, postpartum doula after you became a mom. What inspired you to take that path?
I or my husband didn't have a lot of family that were around us, and it truly takes a village. And the experience that I had with the village around me, you were absolutely one of the biggest influences over there.
I am one of
Um,
the village people.
I had such a great experience with a postpartum doula and a lactation consult of mine that I just felt that I needed to help women like me that didn't have a lot, or even if they did have a lot, you're given this brand new baby and then you're supposed to do all of these things that are supposed to come naturally. And it's ridiculous. It's like, two virgins trying to do something for the first time. It's ridiculous. And then you're expected
So
to do it well.
yes, now I fully understand. But also, what were you doing before that?
I was actually in TV. I was a TV producer on the television show Mythbusters.
Okay, so have you joined the two together? Because doulas are often mythbusters.
it's I did kind of join it together, and then I just took it one step forward and took that to horses. But yeah, the skills that I think I picked up in producing definitely helped in everything that I've done so far. It's
Except you
awesome.
don't you don't go into a new mom's house and blow stuff up.
I mean, it depends.
Oh, maybe you do blow stuff up. Okay. Or sometimes they're blowing up at people. Anyway, horses you came back to. So
Mhm.
horses were a part of your early life?
Yeah, I started writing when I was about 4 years old. And ever since then, it was just in a huge part of my life. It was in my soul. So much so that, I remember my teacher in kindergarten asking me what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I said I wanted to be a horse. And the conversation that ensued was made me so mad that led to me, standing on my chair screaming, "You don't know." So it's been in my blood for a really, really long time. But I competed and I rode, my entire life. But something always felt amiss. And it wasn't until recently that I had found the place that I work with now, Win Place Home, the charity. And they had opened my mind and my heart to actually listening to a horse and to explaining to me the why of a horse, which I just feel was just never explained.
Dang. Nay, was it explained to you?
Nay.
That's my only pun. Okay. I'll do better. So, English or Western?
Primarily English, but I do write in Western. But I don't really teach in Western. It depends on what the horse kind of wants. And sometimes Western saddles are easier on a horse's back than what English are when we're first restarting them.
Now you're talking my language with the whole back thing. So, hunter or jumper?
Neither.
I don't know. I really don't know what I'm talking about. Just, my daughter rides, and
Yeah,
so I
I was
pick up a
about to
little
say this
little
sounds like
lingo here and there. And she was on a jumper the other day and
yeah.
made such a sharp turn. I think she popped a rib out.
Oh my gosh. You should just pop it back in for
Yeah,
her.
so I popped it back in. And then,
Uh,
but yeah, I was like, maybe the other one. Maybe you need the hunter.
well, I mean, look, it's not a gentle sport any way you ride it. Let's be honest. You've seen the injuries and what my body looks like.
I've seen your injuries and other people's injuries, and I've seen even my daughter,
Yeah.
she definitely, it's a toll on her body. She had a
Yes.
big spook not that long ago. She was riding a different horse than usual, and I forgot what spooked him, and he just took off like nobody's business.
Gosh.
And she came tumbling down, and she had the vest,
Yes.
the inflatable vest, and it just shot off like a cannon and inflated before she hit the ground and protected her spine. Her helmet was like disaster, like if that was her
She
head.
needs a new one.
Yeah, she got a new one. She got the
Okay, good.
MIPS now.
I was about to say you need one with MIPS. Those vests are absolutely amazing. I have one and I recommend, everybody who rides wear one, but I need to listen to my own advice on that because I'm always like
That's always the thing. Yeah.
I'm always like, "Oh, I'll get it. It'll be fine." Like concussion later, like it's just
Mm,
yeah.
yeah. I have a treadmill. It works a lot better if you use it otherwise and use it for that purpose, not just hanging clothes. Okay. So tell me about co-regulation. What does this mean?
Co-regulation really is just, and I know you're familiar with this, is, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Horses are flight animals. And so their whole science and, the whole way they're built is to go, is to act now and ask questions later. And in a way that they can mirror how we are, on the inside. And so I think that if you can co-regulate with a horse by breathing, by being very present in your body, by being very aware of the nonverbal cues that you're giving, that you can co-regulate, I guess, with anything, not just, with a horse or a 1,200-pound flight animal that could snap you like a chicken in 5 seconds,
Hmm.
with your tantruming toddler, or, we do a
Also
lot of
could snap me like a chicken.
could also snap you like a chicken. I'm surprised they didn't. I mean, you have like 12,000 children,
Yeah,
Dr. T. I'm surprised you
12,001 since we spoke
lied.
last. No, I'm just kidding. Just only 12,000.
12,001. So, horses will sync up to our breath and our heart rate. So, if we can breathe, and which is how, we control our heart rate and our nervous system, if we can breathe and stay present in our bodies and slow our heart rate down, a horse will actually sync up to that. And I'm sure you've just seen this just by being around, but if you had to like take a deep breath in and take a deep breath out, very often, if you're standing next to a horse, they will in fact mimic that.
And also just mixing all your passions together. People do use the horse lips in birth to
Yep,
regulate themselves to kind of let
absolutely.
everything go.
I mean, the breathing that, the breath work that I learned when I was doing postpartum and labor work, like all translates through all of that now. So,
I think also like a lot of the energy work and the vibration work for human energy is built on this observation from the 1700. I think it was a Dutch scientist who saw that if you take two pendulum clocks that are just swinging at different rates and put them next to each other, they'll line up with each other.
Mm.
They'll start to tick at the same talk.
Yeah.
And, that's, I think a lot of the energy work that we do is based on that human energy work. And so for the horses, it makes a lot of sense too.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense with newborn babies. You often see a mother who's, and I saw this in, lactation, who's frantic and is trying to breastfeed and she just can't get it, and the baby's screaming, and it's, so if you can just be present, slow everything down, co-regulation.
As we can tell from this first segment of the podcast, you are very easy to talk to
Yep.
and pretty open book. And that is going to make the next two segments a lot better than if you weren't either of those two things, because it's a weird topic. It's fear of belly buttons, oomphalophobia, and I can't wait to dig in. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Jamie. Enough about that horseplay. Let's talk about the meat and potatoes of today's episode.
Let's.
I think the first time I heard about this was not with a patient who smacked me in the face over it, but that did happen actually. There was somebody else.
Was it me?
Um, no, it wasn't you. But we were doing a series called The Real Midwives of Los Angeles, which
Yeah.
still streams on Informed
Yeah.
Pregnancy Plus. And yes, it just came up like we were just talking. People share their pregnancy stories, and she was talking about hers, and she mentioned the thing. And, at first I giggled. I was like, your belly buttons, that's crazy. All right. And then I realized I am face blind. I have no facial recognition at all.
Yes.
The most absurd thing. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't giggle. Maybe she's being serious. And she was not just serious. Like, she honestly said that if she had to choose between someone touching her belly button or rape, it would be a tough call.
Whoa. Okay, that's dramatic.
And I was like, and she was serious as a heart attack when she said it.
Yeah, I believe it.
She was like, I don't know which one is mentally worse for me. So it's a real thing. Tell me about, for you, like, when did you notice like this might be something that you have or that's different for you?
I've never been a giant fan of them. I wasn't even aware this was actually like a thing and like other people had it. I was today years old when I found out Khloe Kardashian has this
Oh,
thing.
okay. Look at that. So many things you guys have in common.
And it always just grossed me out. It always grossed me out. And then when I had my daughter, and you clip it and all of that stuff, and then it's like there and it's black and it's like about to fall off. See, I have like the spits right now.
I see it coming up like it's in your throat.
Disgusting. I was like, I actually can't deal with this. What is the quickest way to make this thing go away? Actually, you know what? I'm going to strike that. Before this, I realized when I was pregnant and I had my belly button pierced, right? And geez, you know what? You're taking me down a whole like therapy session here. I think I'm discovering that this is actually going way further back than what I thought it would. I had my belly button pierced when I was 16 years old, and I remember being okay with it. Cleaning it made me want to throw up. I remember that. And then I remember my sister getting hers done and watching it like I thought I was going to die.
Like watching them pierce it or watching them just expose it, touch it?
No, someone touching it, like
just touching it.
Yeah. And then again, fast forward a whole many years, being pregnant. And I had to stick a Band-Aid over my belly button, when it like pops out at the end. The thought of like the little bubble and it like touching clothing. I just like it's more than goosebumps. It's almost like a skin crawling feeling. And so I had to put a Band-Aid over it.
When did you realize that's different than other people?
I never did until you told me.
Oh, right. I do remember having that reveal.
Yes, I never knew it was a thing. I just thought, okay, this is just something that like some people don't like feet or do like feet. I don't know. I just
it's a whole different episode.
It's a totally different episode, but maybe there's like the other side of this podcast.
Right up until that point, you just thought everybody was like queasy, grossed out, nauseated by looking at, talking about, touching, or seeing somebody else's. Is it seeing somebody else's belly button or only if you see it touched?
All of it.
All of it.
All of it. Looking at somebody else's belly button, like I can't even like just the thought of like someone putting their finger. It's so nasty. And I can't explain why.
Can you touch your own belly button?
No, I don't want to.
What happens if you do?
So when I clean it, I have to I don't look and I'm just like, am I doing this? Is it happening? And then
I wish we had a screenshot of the face you just made.
I'm sure you can replay this and find it.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like, because I'm a big wimp, it's sort of like when I have my blood drawn and I'm totally looking away with my eyes closed, trying to think about anything else.
Yeah.
I remember one time I had a great aunt who came into our house. She was staying at our house and she came to the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I was making bread. Okay. I was probably like a young teenager. I cooked a lot when I was a kid. I was making bread. I was kneading the dough with my hands. And she came in and said, "Oh, how are you?" And then she sneezed.
Oh.
And it's the kind of sneeze where the spray comes and starts to percolate through the room, like osmosis going on. You just see it like spreading towards you.
No, stop. Okay, because this is the other thing that I'm definitely afraid of.
Oh, that? Oh, shoot. I didn't know. It's not? Oh. Really? Okay. Another episode there too, because I had no idea. I have to research before we talk about fear of boogers. I don't have a fear. It was just the grossest thing
Yeah.
that happened. And I saw it coming at me, and then you smell it, like you smell somebody else's spray from their sneeze. And then as I realized my hands were sort of getting coated it, the whole bread dough that I was making had a little coating, and then she sneezed again. And I instinctively threw my hand up because I thought something was coming at me, and it was her dentures. And I caught her dentures in my
Stop
hand.
it.
And I love her. She's the greatest ever. But that 1-2 combination is what I think about when I'm having blood drawn, so that I'm not thinking about the blood
Now
draw.
I'm gonna think about it when I get blood drawn.
Yeah, great.
Something you can't
It
unhear.
works every time. I'm like, oh, you did it? You're done? Great, because I was just so busy being grossed out about something else. It's probably there's other ways to go on that. But yes, I just shared that story. Okay,
That was
so
very descriptive. I appreciate you brought in all of the senses.
yes, that face that you made when you're like, if I have to clean my belly button,
Yeah,
I'm just, yeah,
awful.
and that's you and your own. So what if somebody else touches it? I mean, at some point you must
No,
have
it's bad.
sort of had
Yeah.
other people get close to you.
This actually came up recently. I don't know, what is it, like 9 months ago? I had two tattoos. Well, I had other tattoos, but I had two tattoos put on my stomach on either side of my belly button, kind of. And
Do
it was
they
fine.
say do not touch?
I did. I did. I said,
No, is that what the
I
tattoos say? Is it just that
got a big,
round
like,
circle with a line
like
going
a
through it, the
line
red
through
one?
it. Big X. And it was fine. I work with a tattoo artist a lot, and we talk when you're getting jabbed for 75 hours. And so he knows, like, don't touch my belly button. And he's got to put his hand like in all weird positions to get to where it is. So I was like very clear, like, do not. I don't care like what position you have to get in. If you have to hang from the ceiling, you may not. This is a perimeter, and no. And then afterwards, they like wrap it. They put the second skin stuff on it so that it doesn't get infected and all of that. You're supposed to leave that on for a couple days. And it had to go. And again, asked the assistant who was doing it. I was like, "Don't touch my belly button." They were like, "Okay, no worries." But then the wing of the one bird was just close enough that you couldn't, like, you had to have a little bit of margin on the second skin, and it cut, and he cut it just so that there was like a little piece that would have gone like over my belly button. And I saw this coming. I saw this happening like in real time, and I was looking down and I was watching, and I felt like my heart go up and I was sweating. And he looked up at me and he was like, "I'm sorry, should we like put this in, or should I bring scissors to like cut it?" All of which were not a good solution because it would have touched my belly button anyway. And so I had to say to him, I was like, "Just poke it in, just poke it in, just poke it in."
Oh
And like,
my.
"Don't tell me when you're gonna do it. I'm gonna talk." And like before I could finish the second, he had just like poked it in, and I threw up in my mouth a little.
Oh gosh.
I know. And then I had to pull it off.
Oh, I mean, I guess you're running out of real estate.
No, it's not playing this.
No, for those tattoos. I'm just saying you probably got down to, guess I'm gonna have to do one over there.
Anyway, so yeah, so that did come up where someone else had to touch it, and it was horrifying. It was absolutely
But
horrifying.
what before you knew what it was, what about like even just like boyfriends and intimacy and partner?
Like, why would you touch someone's belly? Or maybe you
I
do.
don't know.
Maybe that's like your jam. Like, it's like your jam, but like,
No,
I
not
don't
your
know.
jam, but like okay, not poking it, but sort of
Okay,
coming
all
in
right.
contact with it.
Yeah, so I was always just really like, I guess, like, looking back and thinking about it now, it was always just like really tense whenever anyone was like around it. Like really tense.
Hmm.
If it was someone that I didn't like, yeah. I
So do
mean,
you recall telling people, don't touch my belly button?
I recall like saying, "No, I don't like that."
Okay, that's fair.
But
Did
again, I
you?
didn't know this was such a thing.
Right,
In
you
my
didn't know it
mind,
was a
it was
thing.
just one of these weird things.
Yeah, so when you told other people that they didn't think it was weird, it was just a
Well,
preference.
well, no, because I don't think I said to them,
I'll stab you if you touch it.
"Do you want to get murdered?" It's like, keep going. It was more of just like along the lines of like, if it came up like afterwards where they were like, "Hey, what was that about?" And I was like, "I just don't like people touching my belly button." It was never like a thing, I guess. Yeah, I cannot recall one time where, someone actually touched it or stuck something in it or whatever. I was like, "No, no, sir, here's a kick to the head."
Yeah, I think you have a fairly mild case compared to a lot of other people because
After hearing the rape or not situation, I'm kind of like, maybe I do. But I know that whenever whenever you used to when you used to release my psoas and everything, like I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh God, oh God, oh
don't
God,
touch
oh
it, don't
God.
touch it, don't touch it.
That's all I can think about in my head.
All of these things kind of have a spectrum. Like I have pretty black and white severe face blindness,
Yeah.
but I have a cousin who has face blindness and she's decent at recognizing people, but if they change their hairstyle, she has to like get used to it all over again. But when
Mm.
she gets used to it all over again, she's good now for a while. But I don't have that. Like the second I close my eyes, there's nothing left. All of these things are kind of like a spectrum because I have another patient who told me like if she like during pregnancy in particular, if she would touch her belly button, she would have to call in like mental health day for the rest of the day.
I feel
Um,
like that when I had to touch someone else's belly button. So I
would
feel
be
like
a
maybe
mom.
I
uh,
feel like touching someone else's is worse than touching my own.
that's good.
The naval
50 Shades
spectrum.
of Navel,
Yeah, 50 Shades of Naval.
of Nave.
The
Um,
naval spectrum
okay, so touching somebody else is worse than
for
touching
me.
your own.
Yeah.
Where does somebody else touching yours fit in the spectrum?
Also there.
Where?
Like dealing with someone else's belly button. Someone else touching mine probably falls in that same level.
Oh, same. Okay, so you could touch your own if you look away.
These are amazing questions. You know what? I actually have never thought about that before. This is a good question.
I'm gonna take a break
As
so we could ponder it.
I'm going to ponder this because I
When we
actually
come back, we're gonna see if it comes to you. I hate making you think through these scenarios because I see you turning green with every question.
I'm literally going to
But
throw.
but yeah, let's take a little break. When we come back, we'll finish up our topic of oomphalophobia. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're talking to Jamie. She just had some ginger ale to calm things down. True?
Literally going to throw up.
Yeah. So we left kind of with you exploring your own self.
Yeah.
And this is true. You're one day on the table, your back goes out from all your jumping, hunting, falling off of horses and stuff, and really breaking them in. I mean, it must be
Yeah.
crazy to ride a wild horse like that. And so sometimes that pull from your deep core muscles on your lower back creates the problem. So put you on your back and like strip through that muscle with deep massage very close to the umbilicus. And then when you were so weirded out by it, I was like, oh, do you have omphalophobiia? You're like, what's that? And so here we are. And then as I started asking you questions about like, what about during pregnancy? What about when you had the kid and all that? And you were like, I'm sure people are listening to this and puzzle pieces are coming together for them just like they did for you. But now we're
You're
thinking
doing
about it
good work
deeper.
here.
Yeah, we're thinking about it deeper and we're trying to think, okay, touching your own belly button, you made the face, you looked away, you're like, I
Yeah.
could do it if I have to.
Right.
Touching somebody else's was a whole new level.
Yeah, no,
And
that's
somebody else touching yours may be on that level.
yeah. Okay, so like Sophie's choice, if I had to like touch my own belly button or have someone else touch my belly button, I think that maybe I would have someone else touch my belly button.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
so
and
that falls lower.
well, I think the reason is every time I wish you could like feel the sweat that is actually on my
I could see it happening. I don't see the beads, but I see your reaction, your visceral
just
reaction.
like
It's a
I,
visceral reaction.
I wish you could feel it. It's the worst feeling ever. Like just thinking about it. But I think that, yeah, Sophie's choice, I think that I would have someone else do it. And the reason because if I had to do it, I would think about it and all these things would go through my head. I would start preempting like the physical feelings that I have in my body. And then by the time that I actually got to it, it would be so bad. Like I don't even know if I could do it.
Oh, but somebody
So
else could just do it.
yeah, I could be talking and then someone could do it. And then I could be like, okay, it's
Ah,
done.
you did
I'll
it.
throw up now, but it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think that that's it.
I think the phobias work that way a lot for
Yeah.
people. Okay. Do you know other people now that you've learned about it?
Well, my sister has some degree of this. She is definitely not as bad as me at all, but she also doesn't love it. Like
Uh,
it's not like,
does she
she's
know
like,
about it because you told her that you have it?
yes,
Or, okay.
yes. I said, Natalie, I was at Dr. B and you don't even know that this is a real thing. And it is a real thing. And after we get off the phone here, I'm going to call her. I'm going to tell her that Khloe Kardashian has the same thing. Yeah, she has like a low level of it, but
Well,
she won't have like she won't die if it happens to her. She won't throw up, but she'll be like, ugh.
Now, with this in context, I mean, it is a visceral reaction for you.
Yeah.
And having a baby, so they have the umbilical stump,
Oh,
and you have to care for it, and it's something coming out of the belly button, and you still didn't even know you had it. Like it was different for you than other people.
yeah.
How did you cope with it? How did you get through that? I mean, I always say mom can do anything, but how
It's
did you
true.
do it?
I am really good at soldier mode at just like, getting it done. I remember wearing gloves, which everybody thought was a little extreme.
Because it was your own kid.
Yeah, I think most people thought that I was doing it because I didn't want to get it infected. Really,
Huh.
I just didn't want to get infected.
Right.
I also bought like I think they sort of have a version of it here, but I remember my aunt bringing me this like special powder from South Africa. It like dries it out, and I swear to God, it cut the healing time by like 5 days.
It changed for you once you learned what it was.
No, not at all. It
It's
just
not
was
better,
something that
not
I kept
worse. It's just
saying.
like, oh, it's just me.
Look, I want to talk to other people because I want to know what their reactions feel like. Because my sister and I compare reactions, and mine is a bit of a bigger scale, but like they're pretty similar in the feelings that we get in our body. So I
Yeah,
want to know if this is like a common thing.
I had someone,
Like,
she's probably in her 60s,
yeah,
and I realized she has it. She was sort of soldier mode about it too. Like
yeah,
her back was out and I was doing her psoas, and I could tell she was getting real uncomfortable. She doesn't have reactions to things. She's a very stoic. And
right.
so even if I'm digging into a muscle or a tendon that's like really
Mm,
sharp, she just breathes through it and lets go, which is also like you actually. But then I could tell when I was getting around her belly button that she was having a hard time staying calm. And so I asked her about it, and she's, oh yeah, I never like when anybody touches me near my belly button. I'm like, oh, it's a thing called and she just would not even talk about it. She's like, don't tell me. I don't want to know. I don't care.
don't want to
Good for
know
you.
the word.
She didn't want me to say the word belly button. She didn't want me to
Terrible.
say, even when she found out what oomphalas means belly button, now I couldn't say oomphala anymore.
I want to throw up when you say it too. Like they couldn't find a better word to call it. Like
It's Oompa Loompas.
that's the
Oompa
worst.
Loompaphobia.
They couldn't have found a better word. Like even the word that gives me the spits. Okay, in Afrikaans we would call it the krulles, right? The like
Huh.
the heebie-jeebies.
Yes, the chachis.
It's terrible. Yeah, you can't hear. I don't want to talk about it. That's a fair reaction, but I want to know what it feels like in her body because I have
Yeah.
a very specific feeling in my body when it happens.
You know what? I would right now deeply
Mm-hmm.
encourage anybody who's listening who has this,
Mm-hmm.
share with us. Send us an email, go on social media and send us
Yeah.
a message. Tell us what it feels like, and we'll share it with Jamie. And if you want us to, we'll share it with everyone else. Because I bet it does feel different. And for me, face blindness became a lot more livable. I mean, it was livable, but it was a very confusing life. And it got much clearer and much easier to navigate once I started to talk to other people who have it and realize, which parts of my experience in life have to do
Mhm.
with me just being a weirdo and which are actually prosopagnosia and face blindness and how
But your
people.
mom has it too, right? Your mom.
I don't know if she has it. I'm not sure. My dad was, I think, the exact opposite. He would see somebody who he met 20 years ago, and then 20 years later is like, oh, how?
Right.
I'm like, my wife, who I've been with my whole life, I'm like, oh, are you my wife? So it's the exact opposite. My mom, I think, may be weaker with faces. I try to get her to do the test, and I think she did mediocre.
Mm.
So I'm not sure, but I have an acquaintance who's a midwife and she has it and her mother has it, her sister has it, and her daughter has it. So that can obviously run in families. And you and your sister both have phobia. I
Mm.
haven't really done the science research. When I did it a while back, there just wasn't a lot on like what might cause it and if there are ways to overcome it. But it's clear to me that it's a spectrum because, yeah, I had that other pregnant patient. She said when she would touch it, she would have like a really big emotional release and have to
Oh,
call in a mental health day. And during pregnancy, because it moved, she'd go button her jeans and touch it and just be like, I got to be out today. And you're gagging, even just me talking about it. So, yeah, I would love to connect you with other people and also talk to other people. I think this could be the episode, the moment in life that sparks me to do another podcast series on all these weird, I shouldn't call them weird, but it's sort of unique
it's
brain
weird.
things.
It is weird.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with weird. And then, who knows? I could probably find a way to get Chloe on the horn and see what her experience is like with it as well. So, different things. We all have different things. Uh,
Yeah.
well, have you ever done anything to try to overcome it, like hypnosis or other things that people do for phobias?
No.
Would you be curious to try that, or just not a big enough thing in your life that
No, I would love to. I would absolutely be open to it. Not feel like I want to throw up every time,
because I did send that mom, she was pregnant from the real midwife. She was pregnant, she was going to have a baby. And I was like, how are you going to do this? So I sent her to do hypnotherapy session and she said it was helpful. I don't remember after the baby came,
Mm,
what it was like for her. But actually, I think we never aired them because life got so busy for her. We never got to film the afterbirth series, like the episodes after the baby came.
mm,
But she did say that the hypnotherapy was helpful for like in sort of desensitizing it a little bit or
yeah,
giving her a means of being
right,
able to be more functional around it.
right. Sometimes I think about like desensitizing myself, and like I think, when I clean my belly button, I'm like, okay, this is like desensitization. This is like what we do with the horses. You're gonna be okay.
Oh, yes, full
But I have
circle.
to pep talk myself for a really long time, and maybe even like take an Ativan, and then
I mean, do horses have a belly button?
they do
Hmm.
huge, and it's awful. And
So like when you're cleaning them and stuff?
well, I don't know. I won't do that. But I'll tell you where I think about it the most. So there's an exercise that you do for a horse called a belly lift, and that helps engage the muscles on either side of the spine to lift up and to, get into the spine, teaches them to use their core and, stretch the spine and all of that. And to do that, you run your hand and your fingers along the midline of the horse's,
Uh-oh.
underneath the stomach. And the belly button's quite far back. And it doesn't really look like or feel like, yours and mine. I've nearly fainted the first time I looked at a horse's belly button.
I mean, I assumed that they had one, but I don't really
No, they
know what it
do. They
looks like
absolutely
because
do. So sometimes when I'm doing, especially like a horse with like a short back or whatever, and I'm like doing this belly lift, I'm like, I'm not going to go too far that way. Because
because you're in the
what
neighborhood.
if it
You're in the
moves
neighborhood.
and then my hand slips and touches it
Yeah.
and then I die?
Oh, God. Okay, so yeah. And then that's how there became the modified Jamie Lipsky horsey belly lift maneuver.
Yeah. I mean, you can do it without going that far back, but like
Uh,
sometimes I feel like, okay, so I'm doing it now, but like sometimes horses don't like it and they can get uncomfortable and kind of shift if it's really hard for them. Sometimes they'll move, and then I think about this every time I get closer towards the back. I'm like, what if my hand slips? Like, this is how I die. This is this is how I go.
uh,
Touching a horse's belly button. This is what gives me a heart attack.
wow. Yeah, but again, that gives a sense for the magnitude
It
of
is,
how
and
intense that is for you.
it's the same with my dogs too. Like I will actively like try and see where the belly button is and just like really, and even if I think something looks like a belly button, I don't like that either. That's the other thing.
What about drawings of belly buttons that are
No.
just no good?
Why would anyone have a drawing of a belly button?
I don't know. Sometimes kids draw people and they draw the belly button.
No. I would
No.
smack that. So I go with the belly button picture.
Okay. We're winding down. We're towards the end here. You are always amazing to talk to, and I really appreciate you on this episode because I know that there's a lot of these conditions that people have that they don't even know they have. Like I
Yeah.
had face blindness and you had omphalophonia. Sorry for saying it. And there's more. So it could be a spin-off. We might be doing some brain oddities, a whole new
Mhm.
series. Is there anything before we sign off, anything that I didn't ask you that you think would be relevant?
No.
You
I mean,
just
I
touched
can't
your
even
ear.
think about it because I'm like, don't
All
think.
right.
My brain has been like, don't think about it, don't think about it, don't think about it.
So it's also kind of interesting because when you just touched your ear for a second, I thought it's not any of the other orifices,
No,
right?
it's
You have
not.
nothing with ears or nose or mouth,
Nothing.
just that
Nothing.
one,
Ear, like nothing.
just that one.
That one specifically.
So interesting. All right. Well, you've inspired me to do some more homework on it, see if we've
Okay.
come up with more about what may cause it. And I don't know if there are remedies for it. I'll report back.
Yeah, I want to know why I'm like this.
Thanks a million for joining me.
Of course, Dr. V, thanks for having me again.
Jamie, where can we find you online?
So you can find anything to do with horses, with me and horses, if you have questions or if you want to come out and volunteer, or if you're interested in clinics or riding or co-regulating, non-belly button related things. You can find me at winplacehome.org or at winplacehome Instagram or willowriverequestrian.com or at willowriverequestrian on Instagram.
I will be there. Win Place Home.
Win Place Home.
Thanks again for joining me. And at home, thanks for listening to the Informed Pregnancy Podcast. If you enjoyed this conversation, please take a moment to subscribe, leave us a 5-star rating, and share us with your friends. For more pregnancy and postpartum content just like this, visit us online at informedpregnancy.com.